Well, I met Wendy Watson in 1992 when she first came to my clinic at the old Nightingale Centre, not this one. And it was a striking meeting from the first, because Wendy had come very much with one issue in mind, and that was how could she stop herself developing breast cancer like 9 other members of her family, and many of them getting breast cancer in both breasts. And she had, from her own point of view, come up with the perfect solution. The way to get rid of her breast cancer risk was to remove the breast cells, and that meant having a double mastectomy. And it was a very sanguine choice, but she was very determined, and it was quite clear that unless I could tell her that she really wasn't going to get breast cancer, that had to be the right decision for her. And it was a very good meeting. It was clearly someone who'd made up their mind, was absolutely sure, and that they were not going to run into any problems. Now, it's not the right choice for every woman, but for Wendy it absolutely was the right choice. And since then we found that she did carry the BRCA1 gene fault, and that showed that her choice was totally justified. But soon after I saw Wendy, we did a program looking at the process of genetic testing, and Wendy actually, as a result of that program, set up a helpline. And the reason was there was just massive publicity from the program. When I first started dealing with hereditary breast cancer, I used to mention the choice of risk-reducing surgery, and the impact of the choice was often the woman would almost fall back off her chair at the shock of even the mention of it. That never happens now, and that's, I think, primarily because of what Wendy has done in the media, publicizing it as a choice, not something every woman should do, but something that at least should be available and talked about as an option. And it really is an option that women need to be able to make a decision about. The great thing about Wendy and the helpline is that they do not persuade people they should make that choice themselves. They enable people to make the right choice for them individually. And that is the absolutely wonderful thing. There is nothing better than to talk to your peers, to people who are going through the same process as you, rather than just the professionals who are talking about it from a more clinical viewpoint, saying, well, this is the advantage of this, that's the advantage of the other. Actually being able to talk to people who've been through the process themselves. So that was 1994, 95. Since then, very early in that process, Wendy was asked by the Department of Health to set up the helpline more formally, and was actually given a grant to do so. And following that, after a number of years of funding, she was advised by the Department of Health to actually put her services out to tender to the NHS through the system as it had become the primary care trusts. And it was almost as if Wendy was a test case to see if it really was possible for someone to be able to manage to do such a thing. And incredibly, in the first couple of years, Wendy managed to get nearly the lion's share, 80–90% of PCTs to pay up. And then austerity started to creep in, and there were other priorities. And Wendy's fight over the last 2 years has been unbelievable. She has fought bureaucracy along the way, not just with the PCTs, but in the past with the gene directive, which meant that potentially genetic testing was going to cost thousands of pounds as opposed to hundreds of pounds. And as part of her work, at least contributed to the fact that the gene patent for BRCA1 was overturned in Europe, and that we don't have to pay for the royalties and the testing processes that would be necessary should that patent have been upheld. So Wendy has been magnificent in her personal struggle with Becky as well at her side on many occasions to be the voice of hereditary breast cancer, to be out there canvassing, making things happen, giving people more access to genetic services by championing genetic services, by championing choice, being involved in the original MRI screening program that now means that we can do MRI screening for so many women. She's, some people would say, a very brave woman. Wendy would tell you she's not brave, she made the obvious choice. It would have been more brave to take the risk. But however you look at her, she is just the most amazing, dynamic individual who has made so many things happen for so many people around the country. And I think the book is an absolute testament to what she has done, all the brilliant stories that she's put in the book, her fights against bureaucracy, and the great humour that's in the book as well. I would challenge everyone who has anything to do with hereditary breast cancer, and for that matter to do with commissioning in a health service, to read her book as a testament to what is possible in adversity.